overgrown by ferns, trees, and other forest vegetation, this hole in the ground can be easily overlooked when hiking in Pelister National Park. Hi, I'm Matt, and welcome to this edition of Borders on Budgets. On this episode, we're outside of Bitola, North Macedonia, where this trench and surrounding area would have seen some of the most bloodiest fighting 100 years ago during the First World War. The information was extracted from them. Barbed wire and the electrified fence. 136 people died. The poignancy of war.
Mortality was 10%.
It's been estimated there are a couple of dozen bears in Pelister National Park. From the park's information center, the First World War Trail is about 2 kilometers in length and has several stops along the way. This bridge saw action during World War I, but it was in a conflict before the First World War that saw Bitola being awarded to then Serbia from its neighbors Greece and Bulgaria after the end of the 1912 Balkan War, and that's why only years later this area became heavily concentrated during warfare. Bulgaria captured Bitola in November 15 with the assistance of Germany as the Axis powers held on to this area for about a year. In 1916, Serbia and France, the Allied powers or the Entente, recaptured Bitola, and then this area became a part of the Thessaloniki Front, stretching from Albania all the way through to Greece's second largest city. I'm going to try to get to that red door through this trench that has been overgrown with ferns and thorny weeds. Well, moving that tree branch or part of a log just gave me enough room to wedge under this living tree. Well, according to the map, this is where a water tank is, or perhaps was located. I don't know when the last time somebody actually could have come through this door. So, sight unseen, what do we have? Well, then a whole bunch of darkness. No water tower, but yeah, I suppose it was worth the effort. Made for a good cutaway anyway. For almost 2 years between the Allies and the Axis powers, Bitola, Pelister, and the surrounding villages were subject to heavy fire and bombardment. At the Pelister National Park, there is a collection of photos, and let's step inside to see some of that action. A really good photograph taken of one of the trenches along the Thessaloniki, or otherwise known as the Macedonian Front. Bulgarian troops on the attack. Entente soldiers entering Bitola in 1916. A collage of photos of French and British soldiers in Pelister. Heavy and continuous bombardment of Bitola took its toll on the citizens, young and old. It has been calculated in some capacity that Bitola saw the second most fighting in all of the First World War, second only to Verdun, France, that was on the Western Front. This has been another edition of Borders on Budgets. A reminder, Borders on Budgets. Local people, natural sounds, not a lot of money. From Pelister National Park, outside of Bitola, North Macedonia, thank you very much for tuning in. And after the extra, we will pay a visit to the German cemetery outside of town. And they've got stop in English. Oh, okay. Well, he didn't stop. And the crossing looks safe. Okay, not bad. I just missed the timing of the sunset in order to get to the German cemetery. Anyway, here's an overview of Bitola, present-day population of about 100,000. Here is the entrance to the German cemetery that was constructed in the 1930s, over a decade after the end of the First World War. I don't know what 3406 means, but this reads German cemetery. Unlike the French cemetery on the other side of town, the German cemetery appears to have no individual gravestones or markings. Regarding the casualty count, about 60,000 Germans and Bulgarians died for the Central Powers on the Macedonian or the Thessaloniki Front, while 50,000 Allies died near Bitola, and another 80,000 other Allies eventually succumbed to their illnesses. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Borders on Budgets. If you want to help Bob, hit the subscribe button below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends who would like a different perspective of the First World War.